ברשוס אשר ישנו פה עמנו עומד היום, ואשר איננו פה עמנו היום. And with the permission of friends old and new. Today I intend, with the permission of all of you, and with the permission of all who have allowed me to get to this point after almost 20 years of delivering Pirkei Avot in Shul, I would like to embark every day on speaking and giving a drasha and a shir on another aspect and another Mishnah of Pirkei Avot. All of Pirkei Avot begins, rather I should say, is introduced with a Mishnah, the first Mishnah in Parak HaChelek in Sanhedrin. And that Mishnah goes as follows. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek le'olam haba. Every single Jew has a portion in the world to come. Shene'emar, as it says, quoting a pasuk from Yeshayahu, v'ameich kulam tzadikim. And your nation, the Ribbonu Shel Olam, every single Jew, everyone is righteous. Every single solitary Jew is a righteous individual. In order to acquire some type of an inspiration, in order to explain this particular Mishnah, which is really only the introduction to Pirkei Avot, of Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek le'olam haba, have produced all of the Rishonim and a plethora of Achronim. And there are so many good verblach. There are so many good explanations, so many good pshatim. The volume of Torah written on this Mishnah boggles the mind. And yet, at the same time, I was looking for something more and possibly something different. So, yesterday, davening alone, saying Yizkar alone for my father, Harav Yaakov Simcha ben Harav Meir Zatzal, I remembered when I was sitting Shiva for my father, an old friend called me up, and we were reminiscing about old and good times that we had when we were children. And in the middle of the conversation, he says to me, you know, Yehuda, do you remember that night it was Ne'ilah in the shul, and your father gave a story? And I said, that story you remember? He goes, yes, that story I remember. That story I remember. Well, that was so many years ago. Well, today, I bring you a story of days of old and years ago, and it is my hope and prayer that you too will remember this story some 40 years from now. It's a story told to my father in Switzerland by Rav Shalom Shvadran, the Maggid of Yerushalayim. My father, my grandfather, Rav Yaakov Naiman Zatzal, they would take a spazier, they would take a walk every day in Switzerland, and each one would regale the other with stories or divrei Torah. And he told this story to my father in Yiddish. And it goes like this. In those days, like the bards of ancient times, Magidim, traveling preachers, would go from town to town and preach words of Torah and divrei Musar and relate the history and folk tales of our antiquated past. So imagine, if you will, circa Shtetl Europe. Imagine, if you will, an etovka from Fiddler on the Roof. Now imagine, if you will, a horse-drawn wagon traveling along a lone country road. Clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. Balagola! Coachman, stop! I've noticed the time and it's nearing sunset this Friday. I don't travel on the eve of Shabbos. Let me off. But Rabbi, we are far from your destination. It doesn't matter. Shabbos is coming, and I don't travel when Shabbos is coming. Is there a Jewish town nearby? Yes, Rabbi. Not far. You see that crossroad over there? Take it. Make a left, and you will find a Jewish town. Thank you. Slowly but surely, the rabbi made his way to the crossroads. He turned left and found his way to the outskirts of the town. And as he was walking, he saw another Jew walking nearby. He called out to him and he says, "Tell me, Rabbi," he called out, "what's happening in this town of yours?" "Well, Rabbi, it's Erev Shabbos and Erev Slichas." "I know that, young man. Tell me something about your town. Is everything good? Everything fine here? How's Achmas Yisroel?" "Excellent." "How about Shmir Shabbos?" "All good." "How about Tzedakah?" "We're fine." "How about the mikveh, Talmud Torah, the Chevra Kedisha?" "Rabbi, we have a frum town, and everybody here is a Baal and Shomer Torah and Mitzvahs." Wow. Punkt getroffen. All of a sudden, just then, while talking to several of the Jews who had gathered around the old rabbi, one of them called out, "Uh-oh, we need to go, Rabbi. You see, here comes Yankel the Moiser." "Who? What? What? What did I hear? Who is this Yankel the Moiser?" "Rabbi, this Yankel the Moiser is a terrible person. He's a moiser, he's an informer, he's a delator, a person who rats you out to the government. He's made fortunes in this terrible role. He's made wives widows and rich men poor. People have even been imprisoned because of him. You gotta watch out for this guy. The man is a complete no-goodnik. He's a complete capo. But is there any good trait in this man? Something? Anything? A pintel yid?" "Well, Rabbi, if he says he'll do something, he does it. He's a man of his word. His word is his bond." Well, don't get me wrong, Rabbi. A bond can be like chains, too. And the crowd dispersed, each one going their own way. As Yankel the Moiser approached, the crowd dispersed. Undeterred by this information, the rabbi stepped into the path of Yankel the Moiser, stuck out his hand, and said to him, Rabbi Yankel, with a smile, "Shalom Aleichem, what a pleasure it is to meet you." Yankel was taken aback. No one was ever happy to see him. No one ever addressed him with the title of Reb. "Rabbi Yankel, I'm so happy to see you. You've made my day. Look, I'm an old Maggid, and tomorrow night before Slichas, I'm going to speak in the shul. I make my living from my drushes, but I never know whether I'm going to be successful. But if you come, you, the famed Rabbi Yankel, I've heard so much about you. If you attend, then everybody's going to come. You'll be doing an old rabbi a favor. It will cost you nothing, and you don't even have to give me any money yourself. Please, tut mir a teufer." Then the Maggid put his arm around Yankel and lovingly told him how important he was. Yankel softened. He said, "All right, okay, I'll come. I'll attend." "Thank you, Rabbi Yankel." As Yankel started to walk away, he suddenly had an epiphany. What was I thinking? I don't go to shul. They hate me. He called out to the rabbi, I've changed my mind. I'm not coming. Oh no, but Yankel, I heard that you were a man of your word, that you don't break promises. You can't go back on your word now, can you? Yes, you'll be there. Oh yeah. Remember, Rabbi Yankel, after Shabbos, Slichas night. Now you see, a Maggid coming to town, it's a very special occasion. But tonight, out of Slichas, knowing that the famed Maggid of Chelm himself would address the Kehila, would address the crowd, with none other than Yankel the Moiser in attendance, it would be an event. Who would want to miss that? What would the Maggid say? Would Yankel the Moiser even show? Why did the Maggid want him there? The town was abuzz with the news. Out of Slichas arrived. The shul was packed like a can of sardines. And it was standing room only. Everybody was there. The men, the women, the children. There, in the front row, sat the Maggid, alongside the Rabbonim and the Dayanim. But the Maggid would not start. Oh no. Whisperings and grumblings began. 10 minutes. Why won't the rabbi start? Where's Yankel? 15 minutes. This is getting too long. Why won't this rabbi, this old man, start? And then, punk-it-off, and all of a sudden, the doors to the shul opened. And there stood Yankel the Moiser. An immediate hush descended upon the gatherer. 1,000 pairs of eyes stared daggers at Yankel as he entered the shul. Jumping out of his seat, the Maggid runs to the back of the shul and in a loud voice says, Rabbi Yankel, what a pleasure, what an honor. I've reserved a special seat for you. Come right up here in front in the Mizrah, right next to me. Kum sitz do. The feelings in the shul were palpable. Stunned and shocked by what the Maggid just did for Yankel the Moiser. The air was heavy, kaved me'od. And now, the Maggid ascended the bima. He turned to the Aron HaKodesh. He grasped the fold of the parochas of the corner of the curtain. He kissed it. He wrapped himself in his talis, and he began. The Mishnah in Sanhedrin says the following: Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek le'olam haba. Every single Jew has a portion in the world to come. Every Jew has done something right. Every Jew has performed some mitzvahs. Every Jew, every single Yid, yesh lem chelek le'olam haba. Every Jew has a portion in the world to come. Moira v'raboisai. I've built yeshivas. I've given tzedakah. I've housed orphans. I've even saved lives. Jews have learned Torah because of me. I have many, many mitzvahs in my treasure chest. But tonight, I will give all of my mitzvahs, all of my rewards, all of my zchusim for Olam Haba to you, Yankel. You did me a great favor coming here tonight, and I want to repay you. No good deed, as they say, goes unrewarded. You see, Yankel, I'm giving it all to you. Yankel, come here. I've prepared a contract for you. Yankel, tonight, I deed all of the rewards I have ever earned in my entire lifetime to you. all those chusim, all of my merits and good deeds, I cede to you, Yankel. Bring up the holy Rabbonim, bring up the Dayanim, and they will sign as Eidim, as witnesses to the contract. All of you present in the shul tonight will witness this exchange. I, the Maggid of Chel, publicly and willingly sign over all of my rights, all of my zchusim, all of my mitzvahs and rewards in Olam Haba to you, Rabbi Yankel. Yankel was beside himself. He had to be helped to his feet, brought to the bima, and the contract was signed. Yankel, it's yours. It's all yours. Now you have all of my rewards. Keep this contract. Preserve this star. You are truly a blessed man. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek le'olam haba. Every Jew has a portion in the world to come. And then the Maggid continued. Moira v'raboisai. The Mishnah continues. These are those that have no portion in the world to come. People who have sinned against the tzibur, the community, people who spread lies and slander, people who reject the Ribono Shel Olam, people who have killed in word and deed, and people who are moisim, and people who are informers. Yankel Moiser, all of the good deeds I have earned in my lifetime and I have given to you, you'll lose it all. You'll lose everything. You'll abandon it all if you do not repent, if you do not do tshuva, if you do not return to the embrace of the Eibishter and the folds of your people. You must stop being Yankel Moiser. Yankel Moiser is no more. Stop, I say. I've worked too hard in this lifetime to have all of my mitzvahs erased by the likes of your past. Yankel, stand up before all of those present here tonight and promise. Promise me. No, don't promise me, Yankel. Promise them that I will be good. I will be good. Promise it. Say it out loud, Yankel. In a sobbing whisper, held to stand by others, Yankel called out, I promise. Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek le'olam haba. In the awestruck aftermath, in the stunned silence, the Maggid slipped quietly from the shul. Some say it was 10 years. Some say 15 years. Who knows? Clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. Baragola, coachman, stop. I've noticed the time, and it's nearing sunset this Friday. I don't travel near the Shabbos. Let me off. But Rabbi, we are far from your destination. It doesn't matter. Shabbos is coming, and I don't travel. Is there perchance a Jewish town nearby? Yes, Rabbi, not far. You see the crossroads there? Take it. Make a left, and you will find the Jewish town. Thank you. As the Maggid turned left at the crossroad and approached the town, something familiar raised his hackles. I know this place. And then he met another Jew, and he inquired, can you tell me about Yankel de Moise, where I can find him? Who? The man responded. Yankel de Moise, replied the Maggid. There's no one here by that name, but we do have somebody. We do have some person named Yankel the Tzaddik. Yankel the Tzaddik? Yankel the Tzaddik? Tell me about this Yankel the Tzaddik. Oh, Some time ago, something happened in the shul. Something unbelievable. Nicht zu glauben. A Maggid came to town, and since then he never leaves the shul. He davens all day, learns Yomam V'Layla. People come from far and wide to receive brachas from him. He's our local tzaddik. He's our local holy man. I see, said the Maggid. Tell everybody in shul, tell everybody in town that the Maggid of Chelm has returned. Tell all that I will speak in tonight in the shul. Spread the word. The word spread rapidly, and the appointed hour arrived. All the townsfolk were in shul to hear from the famed Maggid of Chelm. But this time, however, no one had to wait for Yankel's arrival. He was already there. He never left the shul. There he was, sitting in the Mizrach. He didn't need anyone to lead him to a prestigious seat. He already had one. And then the Maggid ascended to the bima and said, and quoted from a Mishnah in Yoma, Avera shebein Adam lemakam, sins between man and God, Yom HaKippurim mechaper, that Yom Kippur itself is an atonement. Shebeino levein chaveroi, between man and man, ein Yom HaKippurim mechaper. Yom Kippur does not atone ad shiratze es chavero, until a person goes and appeases his friend. Yankel, stand up! Stand up! Yankel the Moser! You know in your heart what your past was. And you know how many people here in this shul, in this town, in this village you have wronged. You Yankel HaMoiser, have widowed wives and orphaned children and have made many a rich man poor. Face your people. You're no tzaddik. You're Yankel HaMoiser, the scourge of this town. Have you forgotten? I don't think so. How dare you allow yourself to be called Yankel the Tzaddik? How dare you? According to halacha, sinners between man and man, even Yom Kippur has no forgiveness. Halacha mandates that you apologize and appease all those you have wronged. But that's not even possible. Many of them are in the grave. And usually we would gather a minyan and go to the cemetery and pray for forgiveness. But your victims are too numerous to count. And that too is now impossible. I see here some who remember. Some alte bobes, widows, almonas, and even Yesoimim orphans. And indeed a few poor as well, who still remember Yankel the Moiser. What of them, Yankel HaMoiser? What of them? But there is a way. There's a derech, there's a path for you. Make a Kiddush Hashem. Sanctify Hashem's name publicly. Apologize publicly. Beg their forgiveness for your crimes and your sins before this holy congregation. Bring Yankel to the bima, bellowed the Maggid. Yankel could not stand by himself. Seized in terror and fear, his heart was beating so strongly, he feared it would explode. He understood the deep truth to the Maggid's commands. Several men dragged him to the bima. Repeat after me, said the Maggid. Oshamti, Mochali. Ivisi, Mochali. Chotosi, Mochali. The shul was deathly silent, but in unison, and with compassion in their hearts, the entire kehila, the entire congregation chanted the following: Machalach, 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 You are forgiven. You are forgiven. You are forgiven. Now, Yankel. Now, Yankel. Now you're the tzaddik. Kol Yisrael yesh lem chelek le'olam haba. Every Jew has a portion in the world to come. And as the Mishnah, the introduction to Pirkei Avot continues, V'ameich kulo tzadikim, and all of your nation are righteous. Clippity clap, clippity clap, tick tock, tick tock. Imei nachshav, Masai. If not now, when? Good Shabbos.